Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. In today's session, we are going to discuss few more criteria for classification of the glands. In previous session, we have discussed three different criteria. Okay, that is on the basis of presence or absence of number of cells, then mode of secretion and type of secretion. Now here we are going to discuss about some few more criteria for classification of the glands. So we will start with the next, that is the fourth number. Okay, that is classification of glands on the basis of presence or absence of duct. Okay, so whenever we talk of the glands, okay, generally they consist of a duct for secretion of their secretion, although some may do not have the ducts also. Okay, so this can be categorized into three different types. That is, first is the exocrine gland. Now what does it exocrine gland means? Okay, so these are the glands which consist of duct. Okay, these are the glands. They have glands which have ducts. Okay, these are the glands which have ducts for secretion, for their secretion. Okay, now this may include the examples can be the salivary gland, okay, and liver. Okay, so here this type of gland, they require duct for their secretion, okay, into the body. And apart from this, we have another type of gland which are called as the endocrine gland. Now what does it mean? See, endocrine gland play a major role in our body because they are associated with the release of the various types of hormones. Okay, so here endocrine glands, okay, they are ductless. That means they do not have the ducts for their secretion. Okay, so that is means they are ductless. Now what will be the example of this endocrine gland? The examples under endocrine gland can be the pituitary gland, then we have thyroid gland, then we have the adrenal gland. Okay, many more are there which act as a part of endocrine system. Okay, then apart from these two, we have one more, that is the third, that is heterocrine gland. Now what does this heterocrine gland mean? See, it is the combination of both exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Means some part of this gland is acting as a exocrine and some part of this gland is acting as a endocrine. Okay, so you can write it consists of both exocrine part and it consists of endocrine part. Okay, when we talk of the exocrine part, it is associated with the release of the enzymes. Okay, so most of the time in our body, okay, there will be secretion of the enzymes for the process of digestion, and these enzymes are secreted by a special type of gland that is called pancreas. Okay, because pancreas are acting as a exocrine as well as endocrine. So as a part of exocrine system, they releases the enzyme, and as a part of endocrine system, they releases the hormone. And what type of hormones are released by this endocrine glands? Like this may be the two types, like glucagon, and another hormone is the insulin. Okay, the role of glucagon is to maintain the lower level of sugars. Okay, is to maintain the lower level of sugar, and the role of insulin is to maintain the higher level of sugar within the blood. Okay, so this is the one of the criteria for classification of glands on the basis of presence or absence of the duct. I hope you have understood this. If you have any kind of difficulty, you can ask me through the WhatsApp, and you can pause the video and note down these points. Okay. Then next we are going to move towards another basis of or another criteria for classification of gland. So, the glands are further classified into again two more subtypes. Okay, on the basis of shape. So that is the fifth criteria. On the basis of shape of gland. Okay, so let's see what are the different shapes can be seen. So basically there are two main types of shapes can be seen in the glands. Okay, that is tubular and second type is the alveolar. Okay, so tubular glands and the alveolar glands. These alveolar glands are also referred as the saccular glands. Saccular means sac-like structures. Okay, and tubular glands are having a tube-like structure. So let's see what these structures look like. Okay, so here it consists of the epithelial tissue. Okay, because all the glands are part of a epithelial tissue only. Okay, and it has a long tube-like structure. Okay, and it is also been covered by the epithelial tissue. This end is the blind end, and from this part the secretion is being seen and which will come out through this opening. Okay, so this region is for secretion of the type of enzyme or hormone, and it will be coming out from this part, that this opening. Okay, so this is the tubular type of gland. What about alveolar? Okay, so alveolar glands are like, they are also having the simple epithelium. Okay, then they may have the sac-like structure. And this sac-like structure is also covered by the simple epithelium. Okay, that is flat epithelium, squamous you can say. Okay, so here you can see these are the alveolar type of glands. Now these are the two different glands which can be seen. Okay, so this tubular and the alveolar gland are further classified, okay, into the subtypes. Which are those? It can be classified into the simple tubular gland and compound tubular gland. Now what is meant by simple tubular gland and what is meant by compound tubular gland? See, simple tubular gland is also referred as the tubular gland which is unbranched. Okay, and compound tubular gland is also referred as the tubular gland which is branched. So here when we see unbranching or simple tubular like this, then we can call it as a simple tubular, and when we see the branching, okay, into the tubular gland, then it is called as the compound tubular gland. Okay, so let's see the structure and understand where it is located. Okay, so here in the simple, these are also referred as unbranched. These are also referred as unbranched. Okay, and compound they are also referred as branched. Okay, so I'll rub this portion and we'll write down the further types. Okay, further types over here. Okay, so first one, that is the simple or unbranched. Unbranched tubular gland. Okay, so when we talk of the simple and unbranched tubular gland, what it looks like? It has two different structures. Okay, one is simple tubular like this, and another one is the coiled one. And where exactly this simple tubular are formed? Let's see. So it has two types. That is, first, it is simple tubular again, which will have a epithelial tissue and long tube-like structure, okay, which is also surrounded by the squamous epithelial tissue. Okay, it has a blind end, and the secretion will be released in this way, okay, from this opening. And such type of tubular glands, they are found in the crypt of Liber Cohen. Liber Cohen. Now, what is Liber Cohen? That is present in the intestine. It is a intestinal part. Okay. Then next, another type of modification you can say in the simple branch, or simple unbranched one. That is simple coiled. Simple coiled tubular gland. Okay, so what the structure of simple coiled tubular gland will be like? See here again, it consists of squamous or flat type of epithelial tissue, and slightly curve can be seen in a tube. Okay, so this tube has slightly curved or a coiled like structure. Okay, coiled structure. Okay, and which is surrounded by the epithelial tissue. See, in this way, it will be surrounded by the epithelial tissue. Okay, now where exactly such type of epithelial tissue can be seen, or where such type of glands can be seen? That is, you can write an example, that is sweat gland. Sweat glands. Okay, so whatever sweat we have secreting from the body, it consists of such type of coiled glands. Okay, I hope you are getting this. Now let's deal with the compound or the branch type of tubular glands. Okay, so you can pause the video and note down the points. Okay. So here second, that is the compound or branch. Okay, compound or branch. So let's see. Here they have only one type. Okay, they have only one type. Now what it looks like? So it is simple. Okay, it is like it is not like simple. It is the branched one. It has the branches. So here it will be having the flat epithelial tissue, okay, and a small portion like tube like it emerges and shows further branching. Okay, so here these branched parts, they have the blind end, okay, and this entire part is covered by the simple squamous epithelial tissue. Okay, simple squamous epithelial tissue, and whatever secretions are there, the secretion from this part or from this part or from this part, okay, will be released from a common opening, okay, and entire structure is being covered by the squamous epithelium, okay, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, so where exactly this type of glands are found? These are found, okay, these are seen in, or you can write as an example, pyloric, gastric, gland. Okay, pyloric gastric gland. Now, pyloric gastric gland in the sense what? See, in the stomach we have three different parts. One which is called fundus, another which is called cardiac, and third part is the pyloric region. Okay, in that pyloric region, such type of glands can be seen. Okay, or glandular epithelium can be seen, which is the branched one. Okay, so this is about the simple and compound type of glands. Okay, that is tubular glands. Now let's see about the saccular, another type. Okay, so you can pause the video and note down these points. Okay, let's move further. Now the second category, okay, on the basis of shape is the saccular. Okay, that is alveolar or saccular. Saccular gland. Okay, so alveolar means what we have understood it. It looks like alveoli. See, alveoli, where they are located? They are located within the lungs, right? Their function, we know that exchange of gases. Here also, similar to that, alveolar type of epithelial tissue or alveolar type of glands are seen. Okay, so it is also divided into two main types. That is, on the basis of complexity. That is, simple alveolar gland, and another one is the compound alveolar gland. See, when we talk of the simple and compound, again what it comes? It comes like unbranched and branched. So simple will be unbranched. Okay, and compound will be branched. Okay, so when we talk of the simple, we have already seen the example in the simple. It is consisting of epithelial tissue, and the portion, it is not tube like, it is enlarged ball like. Okay, it is enlarged ball like or sac like structure, right? So such a structure can be seen in case of simple alveolar gland or unbranched type of gland. And where exactly these type of glands are seen? These are seen in para urethral glands. Okay, example, this can be the example. that is paraurethral gland. Then we will move to the next, that is the compound alveolar gland. Okay, so in compound alveolar gland, which are also referred as the branch one, okay, they can be consisting of the simple epithelium, okay, and shows the branching, okay, branching of the alveoli. So here you can see this alveoli, they are also being surrounded by the simple squamous epithelium in this way. So this is the branch type of alveoli. And where exactly such type of branch alveolar glands can be seen? These are seen in the thyroid gland. Okay, so write an example, that is thyroid gland. Okay, so this is about the alveolar gland, that is another type. Now apart from this, there is one more type which is a combination of both tubular as well as alveolar. Okay, so you can pause the video and note down this, and you can also write down the examples. Okay, one more type is there. That is tubulo alveolar gland. Okay, so this tubulo alveolar gland is a combination of both tubular as well as alveolar gland. Now let's see what it looks like. So it has again simple squamous epithelium, okay, and it has quite similar structure to the branch, that is unbranched epithelium, okay, and this unbranched epithelium, okay, forms the branches finally. Okay. In this way you can see the branches, and at the end of these branches there will be small bud-like or the alveolar structures can be seen. Okay, like this. So it is a combination of both tubulo-alveolar. This part is tube-like and this part is alveolar-like, and all entire this structure, it is surrounded by the squamous epithelial tissue. Okay. It is covered by the squamous epithelium tissue. So you can draw the squamous epithelium throughout this structure. Okay, so this is called the tubulo-alveolar gland. And where exactly these are found? These are found in the salivary gland, and mammary glands. Mammary glands. Okay, so this is the detailed classification of glands. Okay, on the basis of shape, on the basis of number of cells present, then on the basis of mode of secretion, okay, or mode of type of secretion. Okay, we have discussed about all the types or all the criteria for classification of the glands. I hope you have understood this. Now next we are going to move towards the cell junctions. What are these cell junctions? How many types of cell junctions are there? Okay, then we will discuss about the connective tissue. Okay, so you can pause the video and note down the points. So we'll move to the next point, that is cell junctions. Okay, what is the function of cell junctions? We'll see here. Okay, cell junctions. Okay, so what are cell junctions? Let's see. The cells are held together. The cells are held together by specialized intercellular junctions. Okay, so these cell junctions are seen in each and every type of tissue basically. Okay, because they are present within the cell. And what is their function? Let's see. So these are of three types. Okay, these are of three types. Okay, there are three types of junctions or the cell junctions. Which are those? First, that is called tight junction. Second is the gap junction. Or second will be the adhering junction. Okay, second will be the adhering junction. And third will be the gap junction. So, what are the function of this tight junction, adhering junction or the gap junction? Let's write down and understand this. So, tight junction means what? The plasma membrane. You know plasma membrane. It is also called cell membrane. So, cell membrane of adjacent cells. Adjacent cells means when the two cells they are connected. Okay. So, these two cells can be said as the adjacent cells. Their plasma membrane it is fused. Okay. So, when it is fused, it forms the tight junction. So, what is the purpose of this tight junction? It prevents the leakage of substances from the cell. Okay. So, it is formed by fusion of cell membrane of adjacent cell. Okay, and its main function is to prevent the leakage from the cell. Okay, if there is any damage to the cell, there may be leakage. So these tight junctions are there. Okay, so due to which the leakage can be stopped. Apart from that, we have the adhering junctions. Okay, now what is the function or the meaning of adhering junctions? Okay, these adhering junctions they act as cementing. They act as cementing. Okay, or they perform cementing function. They perform cementing function. They perform cementing function. cementing function, okay, to keep neighboring cell cells together. Okay, that is the function of this adhering junction. Apart from that, we have the another one that is called gap junction. Okay, now what is the function of gap junction? So the gap junction, they occur between the adjacent cells, okay, to facilitate the communication. So they can exchange the molecules or the biomolecules within themselves. Okay, so that is the function of gap junction. So this is an important point of the epithelial tissue, and hence we have completed the part that is called epithelial tissue. Now we'll move to the another type of tissue, that is called connective tissue. Okay, we'll discuss about the connective tissue in detail. Okay, like we'll draw the outline of classification of connective tissue. We will see different types of connective tissue, that is the loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and the specialized connective tissue. In loose connective tissue, we will discuss about the areolar connective tissue and adipose connective tissue. And in areolar connective tissue, we will discuss about the examples like fibroblast, mast cell, and the macrophages. Then in adipose connective tissue, we will discuss about the white fat, brown fat. Okay. Then in the dense connective tissue, we will discuss about the dense regular and dense irregular connective tissue. Then in another, that is specialized connective tissue, we will discuss about the fluid connective tissue. Okay, that is the consisting of blood and lymph. Okay, and the compact connective tissue, that is consisting of the bones. So see, this is a way of classification, but still there are two methods of classification in the connective tissue. So you can pause the video and note down this point. So we will start the next point. So next, that is the connective tissue. Okay, so after the epithelial tissue, we are moving into the connective tissue. Okay, now what does it mean? Connective tissue means what? See, these are the tissue which help the different structures to remain together. Okay, that is the connective tissue. Now let's discuss some important points of the connective tissue. Okay, so first, these are mesodermal in origin. Okay, mesodermal in origin in the sense what? They are present in the muscles or muscular region, right? That means, see, our body has three different regions: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Okay, so it is present between the ectoderm and endoderm. So they are mesodermal in origin. It is very important point. The next, they are most abundant. They are most abundant. Okay, and widely distributed. These are most abundant and widely distributed. The connective tissue, or they have two major parts. They have two major parts. Now, which are these two major parts? See, okay, or they have two major parts or two main component of cell. Okay, that is the cell which secretes fibers. And these fibers are of two types. That is the elastin fiber, and another one is the collagen fiber. The elastin fiber is also referred as the yellow fiber. Yellow fiber. And collagen fiber is also referred as the white fiber. Okay, so these are the two different types of fibers. Then these fibers are also acting, okay, as a modified polysaccharides. Modified polysaccharides. Okay, and helps to form the ground matrix. Ground matrix. Okay, only this ground matrix, it is absent in one of the connective tissue, that is the blood, okay, or the fluid connective tissue, which is also referred as vascular connective tissue of the body. Okay, so here in that vascular connective tissue of the body, we cannot see any kind of fibers, right? So fibers are present in entire other connective tissue, but not in the fluid connective tissue or the vascular connective tissue. Okay, so they help to form the ground tissue or the ground matrix. Okay, now there are two methods to classify the connective tissue. Okay, there are two main methods. Which are those two main methods? That is one, which is referred as the connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper. Okay, and another method, sorry, connective tissue proper and specialized tissue. Okay, so in this way also we can classify the connective tissue. And another method is that we are going to discuss is on the basis of arrangement of cell, okay, or matrix, okay, that is whether it is loosely arranged or whether it is dense or compactly arranged. So that is the way that we are going to use for classification of the connective tissue. Okay, so you can pause the video and note down the points. Okay. Now we will classify or we will see an outline or a brief outline for the classification of connective tissue. Okay, that is on the basis of arrangement of the cell or the matrix. The connective tissue. So here we will write classification. Okay, so the classification of connective tissue is on the basis of arrangement of matrix. Okay, so here it is broadly classified into three main categories. That is the loose connective tissue. I am writing CT. Okay, that is I am using the short form, but you don't use the short form. Write down as connective tissue. Then the dense connective tissue, CT, and finally we have the specialized connective tissue. Specialized connective tissue. Now the loose connective tissue, what does it mean? When the connective tissue which is loosely arranged within the body, it is referred as the loose connective tissue. Okay, or you can also refer the matrix. Matrix is loosely arranged. The matrix is loosely arranged. Here, okay, it is further classified into two subtypes. That is areolar connective tissue and adipose connective tissue. We will discuss about it when we will discuss about the loose connective tissue. The next, further classified, okay, or in the dense connective tissue, fibers are compactly arranged. Compactly arranged. Okay. Now here, and it becomes little more dense. So depending upon the arrangement of the fibers, okay, into the dense connective tissue, they can be of two types. That is dense. That is it is on the basis of arrangement of fibers. Okay, that is dense, regular connective tissue, and dense irregular connective tissue. Okay, the example that we are going to discuss in the dense regular connective tissue is about of the tendons and ligaments. Okay, and in case of dense irregular connective tissue, that is dense irregular connective tissue, we will discuss about the the tissue which is found below the skin. The tissue which is found below the skin. Okay, so we will discuss about it when we will discuss about the dense regular or dense connective tissue. Then apart from that, we have the specialized connective tissue. This specialized connective tissue, it is divided into two types. That is the vascular connective tissue, and vascular connective tissue in the sense what? The tissue which is circulating throughout the body. Okay, that is called vascular connective tissue. This vascular connective tissue is further being studied into two forms. That is, it consists of the blood and second is the lymph. So when we will discuss about the specialized connective tissue, we will discuss about the vascular connective tissue, and in that vascular connective tissue we will discuss the blood and lymph. We will study the physical and chemical properties of blood as well as lymph, and we will see their functions also. And in compact, that is another, that is the skeletal connective tissue. Skeletal connective tissue. Okay. In skeletal connective tissue, we will discuss about the bone and cartilage. We will discuss about the bone and cartilage. Okay, bone and cartilage. And further cartilage have further classification like hyaline cartilage is there. Okay, then fibrous cartilage and calcified cartilage is there. That we will also discuss. So this is a brief classification of the connective tissue. I hope you have got this information. If you have any kind of difficulty in understanding this concept, you can text me onto the WhatsApp. Okay. So regarding the connective tissue, we'll discuss in the next class. That will start with the loose connective tissue, then we'll move to the dense, then we'll look after the specialized connective tissue. Okay. Thank you.